Your state's most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We're looking at a dry and sunny day today. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast as we start off our news this morning. Temperatures should reach into the 70s today and throughout the weekend, with temperatures hitting about 70 today, mild, and 74 on Saturday. We'll take a further look at the 7-day forecast a little bit later in the show. A Labette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons, Kansas woman for hitting and killing her boyfriend with a car. Authorities say 30-year-old Tiffany Jakey was driving south on US 59 when she passed another vehicle in a no passing zone, drove partially onto the shoulder and hit William Triber, who was walking on the shoulder. Triber died at the scene. Jakey is sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading no contest to second-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated endangering a child, and driving under the influence. A jury finds a Joplin man guilty on 10 counts of charges related to child sexual abuse. Authorities say in 2017, Daniel Franklin paid a group of minors to, quote, party naked with him. Franklin was found guilty on charges including multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation and the Coffeyville Police Department are investigating a death at a Coffeyville home. Authorities say officers conducted a welfare check of a resident at 1709 South Spruce Street. When they arrived, they found a deceased man inside, but have not been able to identify him yet. An autopsy is scheduled for today. Authorities arrest 2 people following an armed robbery at a Joplin convenience store. It happened Wednesday night at the Come and Go on South Main. Authorities say a man went into the store, brandished a knife, and demanded money. The clerk got away safely, and the man left in a car with a woman. Authorities say the suspect is Robert Castro, who was arrested later after a JPD officer tracked the car down. He was arrested in connection with the robbery and outstanding warrants. The alleged driver, Madison Shores, was also arrested. She's facing charges on possession of a controlled substance, DWI, and possession of marijuana. Former Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach is seeking statewide office again, this time as Attorney General. It was revealed earlier he had hired a treasurer for his campaign, a necessary first step before seeking office. Kobach made it official in a press conference, saying the state's AG office is the last line of defense against President Biden's policies.
I'm doing this because so many Kansans have asked me to consider running for this office at this time in history. And this time in history is really defined in large part by the fact that Joe Biden is in the White House.
Kobach is known nationally for advocating restrictive immigration policies and tough voter identification laws. He also was the first prominent Kansas elected official to endorse Donald Trump for president in 2016. 1 in 10 Missouri teachers are thinking about quitting after a challenging year of pandemic education. That's according to a survey from Missouri State University. The survey was sent to 67,000 public school educators. A little more than 8,000 reported. Of those planning to retire or resign, 62% cited the pandemic as their reason. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and a local nonprofit is raising money to help advocate for neglected and abused kids. The Jasper County CASA is hosting the Helping Hands auction. The auction is virtual and features items like a vacation at Arkansas's Beaver Lake and a Chiefs fan package.
We had to miss our big fundraiser last year, and so just kind of came out of an idea that one of our board members had to, hey, let's try something different to see. And we've heard some organizations had some great success with doing auctions online, and so we wanted to give it a shot and see. We've just had tremendous community support with all the items that have been donated.
The auction kicks off today and runs through Sunday, May 2nd. It's 5:07. Here's another look at your 7-day forecast. We've got temperatures in the 70s both today, Saturday, and Sunday, and then chances for rain sporadically throughout the early parts of next week. But temperatures will be getting near 80 degrees least something to look forward to. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Frontenac at home yesterday for a big CNC doubleheader against Galena. We'll have highlights. Plus, more than 96 million Americans are now fully vaccinated. Why some Americans are still leery about rolling up their sleeves. And local reaction to the FDA's planned ban on menthol cigarettes. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. The Webb City Cardinals have yet another state-ranked team on the schedule. Webb City beat 6th-ranked Carl Junction 11-5 on Tuesday to get to 15-5 overall. Last night, the Cardinals welcome in the Nixa Eagles. Nixa, currently ranked 7th in Missouri Class 6. Cole Gaiman sends it out to left center. Shane Knoll comes around to score. Webb City takes a nice and early 3-0 lead after one. And later, Tragan Parker pops it up to center. Jeremiah Leeming will score off the sac fly. In the 6th, Rylan Michaels slips it through. Run scores to get Nixa within 2. But Webb City closes it out, getting the 5-3 win.
Playing people, good people, is really important. You know, we want to beef up our schedule a little bit to get us ready for the playoffs, and the COC does that. COC is a tough league, and we're glad we're in it. And every night, it's a good team, so we got to become ready to play. The win on Tuesday and the win on today was huge. The big confident boosters. We got great pitching. We know pitching and defense will win in the playoffs, so we're real happy with those guys' outings.
Baxter Springs baseball. You got my attention now, right? All right, 6-game winning streak with 2 games on the schedule, starting with Chetopa. Pierce Stolte line drive back up the middle. Caden Nidai and Henry Riley score to double. Baxter Springs leads. It's 4-0. Now in the 3rd, Nidai doubles out to right. Cameron Williamson scores from second. And then Stolte with a base hit to center. Riley. There we go. Base hit to center there, and Riley races home. Baxter Springs makes it 7 straight with the quick 10-0 win. After that, Baxter Springs trying to make it 8 wins in a row against McCauley. The Lions roll again, 15-0. Baxter Springs now 13-3 overall this season. Impressive. Frontenac baseball team has once again been one of the best in Southeast Kansas this season. Frontenac is 10-4 overall, sitting just 2 games behind Columbus for first place in regional standings. Raiders at home yesterday for a big CNC doubleheader against Galena. Game 1 here, Frontenac down 1-0. Caitlin Hayslip rips a double into right center. 2 runs come home. Raiders have their first lead of the day. In the 5th, still 2-1. Heather Arnett at the plate. Left fielder playing in for the lefty. This rolls in. That was a while there. 1 run comes in. Arnett in at 3rd. Something happened out there because she ends up coming all the way around to score. It's 4-1 home team. Now top of the 6th with 1 on. This is the hardest I've ever seen a high schooler hit a softball. Wow. Taylor Watkins over the fence there, over the cars, over everything. Galena would actually tie it at 4 in the 7th, but final frame. Kelby Burke on second. Abby Beeman drops it into left. Burke hustles in. Walk-off single for Abby Beeman. Frontenac takes game 1 over Galena 5-4. Game 2, Frontenac gets the sweep, winning 11-7. The Raiders are now 12-4 this season. Former Joplin High School football standout Zach Westmoreland has found a home at Eastern Michigan University. Westmoreland got to Michigan in January after spending a semester at NEO. Westmoreland was a 3-time All-State receiver for Joplin High School. He finished his high school career with 3,500 yards and 74 total touchdowns. Westmoreland committed to NEO but didn't actually get a chance to play due to the pandemic last fall. But now he says he's found the right school and he's ready to get to work.
I love it up there. It's a great experience. They talked about before I got there, the family culture, like that's a thing. Everybody there welcomed me with open arms, and when you go 12 hours away, like you're out there by yourself, and for them to really like embrace me and show me around everything. Like, it was really nice. Still got to work, obviously, but it's good to know, like, I found a home.
Westmoreland will suit up for the Eagles for the first time this fall. You can check out our full story with Westmoreland on our sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. I got to know that kid. We competed together in the Mother Road Marathon relay team one year. I got to hand it off to him. Quite an honor. Still to come, tragedy in the Middle East.
Israel is in mourning today following a deadly stampede at a religious festival. I'm Elise Preston with a look at how witnesses believe the tragedy happened.
Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Here's another look at your 7-day forecast. Mark it down. If you got something to do outside, do it this weekend because we're going to have chances of rain for the most part of next week. But hey, 70 degrees going into the weekend. Cannot complain about that. Well, the FDA is pushing forward with a ban on menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars, a move they say could save hundreds of thousands of lives. Menthol is the only cigarette flavor that was not banned under the 2009 law that gave the FDA authority over tobacco products. It was an exemption negotiated by industry lobbyists. The move announced yesterday comes in response to new legal pressure from African American health groups concerned over the impact that menthol cigarette smoking has had in the Black community. A tobacco control study shows from 2012 to 2014, 84% of Black smokers reported smoking menthols. Young smokers are also more likely to smoke menthol cigarettes, according to Tobacco Control. From 2012 to 2014, 53% of smokers ages 12 to 17 and 50% of smokers 18 to 25 smoked menthols. Menthol reduces the harshness of cigarette smoke, which health experts say might appeal to underage smokers and make it harder to quit for smokers of any age. Well, our local NAACP chapter is happy to see the proposed change, saying it would be good for everyone long term. While the FDA is pushing the ban in the name of public health, some smokers are rallying against the idea. KOAM's Zach Dodge has local reaction.
I can remember as a little boy growing up, my dad and uncles, whatever, that's all they smoked.
Joplin NAACP President Victor Sly says as a DARE officer, he always thought menthol cigarettes were the gateway drug, leading to kids trying harder drugs after smoking. Something that impacts kids in Black communities, as more than half of underage smokers smoke menthols.
It's targeting the inner city communities, getting these young kids to start smoking earlier.
So he thinks the proposed menthol cigarette ban would be a win for everyone.
Say if you stop smoking, everybody stops smoking, then you know what? Then you don't have these different types of the disease, you cut back on medical costs, people won't be in hospitals.
No. We need our menthols. There are people who cannot do regular cigarettes.
Parsons resident Destiny Harris says she smokes menthols because that's what her family had when she started smoking, and is not happy about the idea of not being able to get them.
There's no substitute. A lot of us probably will quit.
Joplin resident Abby Constable's been smoking for 20 years, and menthol is her cigarette of choice. She's tried quitting, but says it's harder than it seems.
I'd have to switch over to a regular one, and she's probably going to listen to me complain about it the whole time.
Some smokers think that it's unfair for the FDA to do nothing with traditional cigarettes, but fully ban menthol flavored.
If you're going to do the menthols, you got to do the other ones. It's not only fair.
They ought to ban all cigarettes. That's what they should do, truthfully. But, like I said, again, to each his own.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The FDA says they're working toward issuing proposed product standards within the next year. There will be an open comment period before the proposed ban would take effect. And that brings us to our something to talk about this morning. Should menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars be banned? Why or why not? Please weigh in on our Insta poll as well at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be right back with Health Watch. Topping Health Watch this morning, experts have made it clear to end the COVID-19 pandemic, we need to get vaccinated. But there are still a lot of people who say that's not going to happen. Britt Conway has more from health experts on what that means for everyone else.
Different day, same plea.
Get vaccinated so we could crush this outbreak.
But that starts with crushing vaccine hesitancy, and it's proving to be a challenge among younger people. A CNN poll released Thursday found 31% of adults under the age of 35 don't plan on getting vaccinated. The reasons vary.
What's in it for me? What's the purpose of getting vaccinated if nothing changes?
People, when they hear it's still emergency use, they still have a little concern.
There's also a political divide and an educational divide, but health experts point to the bigger picture, like long COVID.
Even for young people who consider their risk of severe COVID to be low, the long-term consequences can be quite serious.
And the health of others.
You may then infect someone inadvertently, and then you'll pass the infection on to someone else, who might pass it on to someone else, who might really get seriously ill and might die.
Health experts say getting COVID-19 under control means getting herd immunity up to at least 70% of the population. Right now, it's at 30%, which is why there's such a push to spread the word to keep the virus from spreading.
People look to their local leaders, they look to their faith leaders, and they really look to their doctors.
As that happens, more people are getting vaccinated because they're talking to other people that have been vaccinated, and it worked out well for them.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Obesity greatly increases the risk of hospitalization or death due to COVID, and that's according to a study in The Lancet that looked at health records of nearly 7 million people in England and found that weight plays a big role in how serious COVID cases are, especially for younger people. Patients 40 and younger had a 9% increased risk of severe COVID. Doctors say it highlights that young people need to get vaccinated. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Or cloud cover overnight, and so that's I got it wrong, but it's about a 10-degree difference there from what we had yesterday into today, as the wind has shifted, now moving in from the southwest. Now you lose that cloud cover, you're going to see temperatures as low as 46 degrees right now in Neosho and Miami, 51 in Lamar, and let's roll 51 in Chanute. And tell you what, big difference there when everything clears off. But we'll find our silver lining, and the silver lining is indeed the fact that if we take off the sweeping radar, we have no precipitation to worry about. Clear as a bell for the most part. Even cloud cover had to go down through central Oklahoma and central Arkansas. Now, when we talk about where that rain activity is, it's still coming out of Texas, the Lone Star State, just about underwater right now. But instead of it moving toward us like it has been for the past 2 days and then up to the Ohio River Valley, what we have is a split in the jet stream. And so the bottom of your screen shows you how that trough digs deep into Mexico, grabs that Gulf moisture. That's why you've got the thunderstorm activity still in Texas. But then instead of spitting it up to the northeast toward the Great Lakes, it sends it pretty much due east. It's going to ride the Gulf Coast today. Then you've got the ridge of the jet stream that's hanging over Big Sky country, and what that will create is a big ridge that is going to bring us, number one, clear skies, number two, warmer temperatures. So you got those two factors in play as we speak. As that happens, we're going to have temperatures that make it up into the high 70s today. We're going to throw up an 80 every now and then. It's not going to be consistent 80s, but out to the west and the south, we're going to see 80-degree temperatures and plenty of sunshine. It's just such a marvelous end of the week. At the mowing forecast, we got to throw up the good, I'd call it excellent if I could, on Friday and Saturday. Now, as far as Sunday and Monday, not that those are going to be bad days, simply one of those that we're just going to pick up a little bit precipitation here Sunday afternoon into Monday. Also of note, we have lost all our flood warnings for Berry and McDonald County. And also, too, we've lost our flood warning for the Elk River. So the water is starting to recede a little bit. But now on Sunday, there you go, we begin to see it work in a little bit. It's not going to be truly until the afternoon where we get a little more widespread rain. And then we've got rain all throughout the course of next week. So let's take this advantage to dry off.
Report State's most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. It's going to be dry and sunny today. Let's go to Michael with a first look at your forecast.
It's going to be great. We just need to warm up a little bit because our temperatures right now in the high 40s, low 50s. But the reason for that is we lost all our cloud cover that we had yesterday, which is not necessarily a bad thing because that means we don't have to worry about rain. And on the positive side of it all, I'll lose the sweeping radar there, so we can show nothing's coming down. Positive side of it all, we've lost our flood warnings for Berry and McDonald County and the Elk River. Those have all expired. The Elk is beginning to recede, and the ones for Berry and McDonald, they were lifted at approximately 2:30 yesterday. So that is great news. Now, with the lack of cloud cover, we know what that means. It's going to warm up. It's going to warm up fast. We're going to cruise past 70 by the noon hour, work up into the high 70s. We'll see 80s about 3, 4 o'clock out on the western edge. I'll throw up an 81 and 82, if you will. And so if that's the way we're going to end our work week and head into the weekend, it's going to be a great time to be outside. And the only reason that Sunday and Monday are in that fair category is because we do see the possibility for little rain popping up, but it's not going to be widespread, and it's certainly not going to have the intensity of what it did yesterday, or Wednesday, excuse me, and it's not going to happen until the afternoon. So anything you got planned Sunday morning, please take advantage of a great day. Check out the cold front in between Monday and Tuesday. I know, it's May and we're back into the 60s.
Yeah. I like the 80 on Monday. That's going to
It won't be too bad as long as it stays dry most places.
No kidding.
Especially down to the south. We're all thinking of you down to the south. If we can, I know nobody down there is going to complain if it's 65, as long as they don't get more rain.
There you go. All right, thanks, Michael. A Labette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons woman for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Authorities say 30-year-old Tiffany Jakey was driving south on US 59 when she passed another vehicle in a no-passing zone, drove partially onto the shoulder, and hit William Triber, who was walking on the shoulder. Triber died at the scene. Jakey is sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading no contest to second-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated endangering a child and driving under the influence. A jury finds a Joplin man guilty on 10 counts of charges related to child sexual abuse. Authorities say in 2017, Daniel Franklin paid a group of minors to, quote, party naked with him. Franklin was found guilty on charges including multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Authorities have arrested 2 people following an armed robbery at a Joplin convenience store. It happened Wednesday night at the Come and Go on South Main. Authorities say a man went into the store, brandished a knife, and demanded money. The clerk got away safely, and the man left in the car with a woman. Authorities say the suspect is Robert Castro. He was arrested later after a JPD officer tracked the car down. He was arrested in connection with the robbery and outstanding warrants. The alleged driver, Madison Shores, was also arrested. She's facing charges on possession of a controlled substance, DWI, and possession of marijuana. During the course of the coronavirus pandemic, lumber prices have skyrocketed, creating headaches for lumber yards across the country. According to Business Insider, prices have soared more than 250% during the last year because the pandemic forced many mills to close or significantly slow production. Mark Welch is the owner of M&D Lumber in Miami, Oklahoma. He says the pandemic also affected customers' buying habits.
Well, right when COVID first hit, we actually had record number of sales, everybody home not doing anything. Well, then that really depleted the mills and what everybody had in the storehouse. So that's where we're back now, trying to fill that.
Mark says he hopes lumber prices calm down as our country makes progress fighting COVID-19. But as of now, they're still on the rise. A Christmas miracle in April. These 4-year-old twins from Liberal, Kansas, We'll show them here in a second. They released a balloon with a wish list to Santa back in December. Well, a stranger more than 600 miles away found that balloon, and last week he made their wish come true. Ellen Terhune has their story.
This story starts in Liberal, Kansas back in December when 4-year-old Luna Gonzalez and her twin Janella let go of a balloon attached a wish list for Santa.
Never expected anything to come out of just letting a balloon go and having my girls just send a letter to Santa.
But little did the family know someone would find that balloon.
I was deer hunting. I went to my other stand to check it out, and I saw the balloon in a treetop.
More than 600 miles away in Louisiana, Alvin Bamberg says God told him to take a closer look.
It was both girls' Christmas list and their wishes. Their mom had limited it to 4 items.
And right then and there, he decided to be Santa's helper, first posting the balloon and the note on Facebook to eventually find the girls who released it. Then he started gathering the gifts.
Friends, family, co-workers, old schoolmates, everybody just pitched in.
He then mailed the girls the presents.
He took the time out of his day while he was hunting just to go and grab it and see what it was. It caught his eye, and he could have just left it there. He could have just taken it home and left it there, but he put it on social media.
For a couple of little special girls and liberal.
But there was one item on the list that couldn't be mailed. And 2 weeks ago, Bamberg and his wife made the trip to meet the girls with their final gift.
See those two little girls smile like that? They got down on the ground. The puppy ran and crawled up in their laps. He was wagging his little tail so fast. I mean, there's no amount of money that you can put on something like that.
And now Bamberg is much more than Santa's helper.
Do you guys feel like you've built a friendship that will kind of last a lifetime from this whole experience?
Of course, yes. Him and his wife are family to us now. They are.
How about you?
Of course. We're already planning our next trip up there in a month or two.
And his reason behind all of it is quite simple.
It's just the right thing to do. I mean, this world is crazy right now. People just need kindness.
Anyone else notice that Alvin has a white beard? That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Cops versus firefighters. We'll have a preview of tomorrow's Guns and Hoses charity basketball tournament. Plus, at least 44 people are dead in Israel following a stampede. We'll have the latest on what's being called one of the deadliest civilian incidents in the country's history. First, it's 5:37.
Temperatures today going to be in the high 70s. Whole lot of sunshine, absolutely delightful beginning to the weekend, and all our flood warnings have finally been lifted. Back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping World Watch, Israel is in mourning today as at least 44 people are dead. Many more injured following a stampede at a religious festival. CBS News' Elise Preston has the developing details.
Dozens were killed and around 150 hurt during a stampede in Israel. It happened at a religious festival attended by tens of thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews. They were gathered in Mount Meron to sing, pray, and dance for the Lag BaOmer holiday. Witnesses say as crowds tried to exit through a narrow walkway, people fell on top of one another, possibly sliding on a slippery metal staircase. This man estimates there were 60 to 70,000 people around him with no place to move as people started to fall to the ground.
We were standing and waiting for our friends. We were going to go inside for the dancing and stuff. And all of a sudden we saw paramedics from Madda and whatever running by like mid-CPR on kids. And then one after the other started coming out.
Israel is often cited as leading the world in COVID vaccinations. This event was the first mass religious gathering allowed since the country lifted nearly all of its COVID-related restrictions. Elise Preston, CBS News.
Stampede is being called one of the deadliest civilian incidents in the country's history. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Our Facebook post and our morning Insta poll this morning is about menthol cigarettes and the administration's idea about banning them and asking what you think about that. Roy D. Mercer, how big a boy are you? Says they're legalizing marijuana seems like everywhere, but banning menthol cigarettes. Roy says, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Rocky Cunningham, sounds like more of the same government, quote, logic, end quote, we've seen for decades. Rocky says, cigs are bad, period. Flavors are relevant. It's like banning wine coolers because too many drunks drink them. And yes, we do love you, Aunt Pat. Michael Arrowwood, I guess we've got candy and tobacco on 4th Street. Becky Mingarelli says, seems a bit silly to ban just the flavored ones, but I really could care less if they got rid of all cigarettes. Becky says, nasty, smelly habit. And Guy Hansen. Guy says, it can serve a political purpose. The former Democrat Party will ban it, censor it, or demonize it. I remember the days of simple public service announcement and warnings, giving people enough credit to govern our own lives. Guy asks, what does this have to do with Marxism? He says everything. State control over every aspect of our lives, heavily flavored with political motive. If you think that Marxism is some sort of conspiracy theory, he said, you are dead wrong. As far as our morning Insta poll goes right now, we've got 75% of you saying no. Menthol cigarettes and flavored cigarettes should not be banned. Make your voice heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Come back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden heads to Philadelphia today to keep pitching his ambitious economic and social agenda. His multi-trillion-dollar proposals are aimed at rebuilding infrastructure, creating jobs, and providing aid to families. The president spoke about his plans at a drive-in rally in Georgia on Thursday, his 100th day in office. A Labette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons woman for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Authorities say 30-year-old Tiffany Jakey was driving south on US 59 when she passed another vehicle in a no-passing zone, drove partially onto the shoulder, and hit William Triber, who was walking on the shoulder. Triber died at the scene. Jakey is sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading no contest to second-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated endangering a child, and driving under the influence. A jury finds a Joplin man guilty on 10 counts of charges related to child sexual abuse. Authorities say in 2017, Daniel Franklin paid a group of minors to, quote, party naked with him. Franklin was found guilty on charges including multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Authorities arrest 2 people following an armed robbery at a Joplin convenience store. It happened Wednesday night at the Come and Go on South Main. Authorities say a man went into the store, brandished a knife, and demanded money. Authorities say the suspect is Robert Castro and was arrested later after a JPD officer tracked the car down. He was arrested in connection with the robbery and outstanding warrants. The alleged driver, Madison Shores, was also arrested. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
It's a little bit of a cool morning with temperatures sinking as low as the mid-40s. We're all 48 in Joplin, 46 in Miami, and then 54s in Fort Scott and Nevada. Now, reason being, we lost our cloud cover from yesterday, but that also means that after sunrise at 6:25, we were going to warm up. We're going to warm up fast, all the way past the 70s by the noon hour, up into the high 70s, low 80s, even out to the west. All the latest on the Skywatch weather app. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. And while our interviews have been a little bit different of late, very similar to what we had in 2020, we are to the point now where we're talking about getting back and having live events that we're able to attend. And this event that we're going to talk about this morning is one of the utmost importance when it comes to what's called Bright Futures Joplin. It is the Guns and Hoses basketball game. And we're fortunate enough to be joined this morning by John Boyd. John, thank you so much for your time. Before we get to the game itself, people may have heard about Bright Futures, but they may not be familiar with, number one, its mission, and number two, how important it is to children. I turn the floor over to you to kind of explain.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for having us, by the way. Bright Futures is a grassroots initiative that basically helps Joplin students come to the classroom ready to learn. Now, that could cover a lot of ground, whether it be shoes, clothes, school supplies, whatever. We help meet those needs, because we all know if you come to school with a blown out shoe, or hungry, or don't have the proper tools to learn, you're going to be set back just a little bit. So that's what Bright Futures does. We look after the felt needs of the Joplin School District students.
And so the game itself is coming up on May 1st, and I think the really cool thing about it, the interesting aspect, kids get in free because Bright Futures Joplin is such a child-oriented organization. But John, I want to put you on the spot and ask you why you chose to get involved with Bright Futures and how you saw it help the future of the 4 states.
You know, I chose to get involved with Bright Futures because as a kid that grew up with a limited father figure, let's just put it that way, I saw the needs for these kids to have a positive role model in their lives, whether it be eating lunch 20 minutes a week. I could tell you story after story of how the students have just come to be such integral parts of not only their school, but their community as well. I love to sit and just listen to their stories, ask them about their favorite things, and just be a part of their lives.
John, I appreciate your vulnerability and your honesty on that question. That I did not know that, and wow. Okay, let's transition to the event itself, because this is a great opportunity to number one, have a fundraiser for Bright Futures, but number two, for everybody in attendance to have some fun. Now, guns and hoses. Explain to me who's on either side of the basketball court.
Well, we came up with this project about 4 years ago, and Guns and Hoses, we just thought we'd play off that name and involve the firefighters and involve the police department of Joplin. And let me tell you, it has grown to, yeah, we'll play some basketball, to a smack talking event. Man, they get in there and they muscle up and they play some ball. And it has become very important to Bright Futures Joplin because A, it's one of our main fundraisers, and then B, the family can come out and just be a part of it. We have so many things going on in the event itself. We've added some silent auction baskets. We've got one basket that's valued over $800. Half court shot that's $500. We've got timeout games that are going to happen. You're not going to sit still, I promise.
And John, you bring up a great point, because it's not only it's fun competitive watching, but you have so many ancillary events that are focused around this, and we're all able to do it in one night. So give me the details about what we have on May the 1st.
Okay, May 1st, Joplin High School Gymnasium, 7 o'clock p.m. is game time. Gates open at 5:30. There will be plenty of things to do. There will be concessions. There will be giveaways. There will be games for the kids and adults, a half-court shot, some silent auction things, and some hardcore basketball.
And so really, folks, if you're looking for some great entertainment that supports an even more wonderful cause, May 1st, Joplin High School Gymnasium is where you're going to want to be. And when you get there, tell John Boyd Slip says what's up. John, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. Best of luck to you. We look forward to covering it on May 1st. And best of luck to Bright Futures Joplin and everything that you do for that organization.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you for supporting us.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News when we return right after this. As we push into the weekend, we're going to be off to a great start. We're talking about temperatures are going to be close to 80 degrees today. And then Saturday, we're still looking gorgeous and back into the high 70s, 80s. Now, let's talk Sunday afternoon. Here's where we begin to develop rain again. And unfortunately, it does move in from the south. We have lifted the flood warnings for Berry and McDonald County, as well as the Elk River. So that's the good news for the time being. But now Sunday afternoon, then we begin to originate once again with some heavy rain coming down. Everything's going to move from south to north. So even the northern portion of the 4 states is going to see some of this precipitation by the time the weekend's over. Don't let that dissuade you from getting outside and enjoying 2.5 beautiful days. And Monday, we've got a cold front that's going to work in. So while our daily highs are going to drop into the 60s, The nice reprieve is overnight lows manage to stay into the 50s. And of course, any watches and warnings that pop up, you can find the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
A Parsons, Kansas woman gets 14 years behind bars for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Plus, a Joplin man found guilty on more than 10 counts of sexual abuse. And Joplin police make arrest in the armed robbery of a come-and-go.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We've got a beautiful forecast to kick off our weekend. Let's go straight to Michael Hayslip with a first look at the weather.
It is, even though it's a little chilly outside right now, and that's because we don't have any cloud cover. Look at the big difference, though. This is kind of a strange one. 56 degrees right now, hovering over in Pittsburgh. And then you take that quick trip down Highway 69. There's a 10-degree difference in Miami, where it's 46 degrees. So we're kind of all over the place temperature-wise. But here's the nice thing. It is beautiful outside. There is no worry about any precipitation for today, as everything remains way down to the south, even central Arkansas and northwest Arkansas and southwest Missouri. Going to get a break from the precipitation as we've been able to lift all of our flood warnings that we had from Wednesday into Thursday, and that includes the Elk River. That one has been allowed to expire. That was a key one right there, because at one point in time yesterday, it was half a foot over flood stage. Sunny skies lifting us into the high 70s later on this afternoon. Let's go ahead and press into the weekend like Tanya said, because it is going to be delightful on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can tell, like hardly a cloud in the sky there. Now, by the time we get to Sunday afternoon, here we go. And unfortunately, it is going to come in south to north. Not going to be certainly as intense as what we had on Wednesday. We'll back that off a little bit, but you can tell it wants to roll through. Not a whole lot of thunder and lightning, and probably not going to end up with any flood warnings from it. After that, cold front's going to drop in on us on Monday into Tuesday. The interesting thing about that, look at our overnight lows. They don't budge too much. It's just the daily highs that seem to make a big difference on that. The overnight lows, going to hang in the 50s.
Yeah. Not too bad.
No,
I mean, that's those are temperatures where you're going to want to run your AC, most of us anyway.
Oh, I got one to point out that I forgot about. So Joplin right now is about at 12 inches of rain since January 1.
Oh.
Pretty much on par for like historical average. Okay? Not like, it's not too far off. Think about Shell Knob and Bentonville. Okay? They got 6 inches on Wednesday.
Yeah.
They got half of what Joplin's gotten in 4 full months. They did
too much, too fast?
24 hours.
Leads to the flooding. Ouch. All right, thanks, Michael. Labette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons, Kansas woman for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Authorities say 30-year-old Tiffany Jakey was driving south on US 59 when she passed another vehicle in a no-passing zone, drove partially onto the shoulder, and hit William Triber, who was walking on the shoulder. Triber died at the scene. Jakey is sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading no contest to second-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated endangering a child, and driving under the influence. A jury finds a Joplin man guilty on 10 counts of charges related to child sexual abuse. Authorities say in 2017, Daniel Franklin paid a group of minors to, quote, party naked with him. Franklin was found guilty on charges including multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Authorities arrest 2 people following an armed robbery at a Joplin convenience store. It happened Wednesday night at the Come and Go on South Main. Authorities say a man went into the store, brandished a knife, and demanded money. The clerk got away safely, and the man left in a car with a woman. Authorities say the suspect is Robert Castro and was arrested later after a JPD officer tracked his car down. He was arrested in connection with the robbery and outstanding warrants. The alleged driver, Madison Shores, was also arrested. She's facing charges on possession of a controlled substance, DWI, and possession of marijuana. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation and the Coffeyville Police Department investigated death at a Coffeyville home. Authorities say officers conducted a welfare check of a resident at 1709 South Spruce Street. When they arrived, they found a deceased man inside, but have not been able to identify him yet. An autopsy is scheduled for today. During the course of the coronavirus pandemic, lumber prices have skyrocketed by more than 250%. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to a lumber yard owner in Miami to learn why the pandemic has affected his prices.
The coronavirus pandemic has affected many businesses in many ways, and the lumber industry is no exception.
You call today and I give you a price on a 2x4 today, that price is probably not going to be good tomorrow.
Mark Welch is the owner of M&D Lumber in Miami, Oklahoma, and he says skyrocketing lumber prices caused by the coronavirus are creating headaches for both him and his customers.
Just frustrated with prices, get cussed out regularly. Thinking we're price gouging, things like that, till they call around, and I mean, it's affecting everybody everywhere in every town.
According to Business Insider, prices have soared more than 250% during the last year because the pandemic forced many mills to close or significantly slow production. But Mark says that's not all that happened.
Well, right when COVID first hit, we actually had record number of sales, everybody home not doing anything. Well, then that really depleted the mills and what everybody had in the storehouse, so that's where we're back now, trying to fill that.
Mark says he hopes lumber prices calm down as our country makes progress fighting COVID-19. But as of now, he doesn't like what's happening.
Right now, we're still on an upward trend. I hope by the end of 2021 that we've at least become stable.
In Miami, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
According to Yahoo News, the CEO of Deacon Lumber told Fortune magazine this week he believes lumber prices will be elevated for quite a while. 1 in 10 Missouri teachers are thinking about quitting after a challenging year of pandemic education. And that's according to a survey from Missouri State University. The survey was sent to 67,000 public school educators. Little more than 8,000 reported. Of those planning to retire or resign, 62% cited the pandemic as their reason. Most evacuation orders have been lifted following a massive fire at a chemical plant near St. Louis. The blaze broke out at Manor Chemicals in Afton, Missouri. This was Thursday afternoon, creating a plume of smoke visible from miles away. Officials ordered everyone who lived within half-mile radius of the facility to evacuate. But most residents were allowed to return a few hours later after firefighters got the blaze under control. It's still unclear what started the fire. Officials say the flames caused some chemicals to leak into a local sewer system, but there's no word on what kind of chemicals. One firefighter was injured while working the scene. 6:07.
Our temperatures today are going to be in the high 70s, and I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see it eclipse 80 degrees out to the west. And so it's a delightful Friday, a great looking Saturday. Now we do have some rain that works in on Sunday, but Sunday morning into the early afternoon hours looking absolutely great.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, an employee shortage.
Diners are returning to restaurants, but not all the workers are coming back. I'm Nancy Chen, and I'll tell you why restaurants are struggling to find employees.
Plus, steroids used to help organ transplant and autoimmune conditions may be getting dangerously overprescribed. And this week's staycation is in McDonald County, Missouri at the Bluff Dwellers Cave. KOAM photojournalist Leah Mandelbaum gives us an inside look at a local family's hidden gem. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, with vaccinations increasingly available, millions of Americans are going out to eat again. But as Nancy Chen tells us, restaurants nationwide are having trouble accommodating all their new customers because of an employee shortage.
Business is back at the Loft restaurant in Paulsville, Washington. Owners Sandy Colbanes and Michael Buchholz are serving up meals to a growing number of diners. But there's a key ingredient missing: workers.
This is the hardest it has ever been in my 30 years in this industry to find anyone to come and cook.
Establishments nationwide are facing staffing shortages at all positions. The mill in upstate New York is offering gift cards to customers who help find new employees.
Our biggest fear is that we have this beautiful location and we're not going to have the manpower to have every part of it open.
When restaurants shut down last spring, many workers found jobs in different industries. For others, it pays more to stay home and collect government benefits.
Are there some folks who are earning more money on unemployment with the federal bonus right now? Absolutely. But there's also people that can't afford to work and need to be on unemployment because their kids aren't still back in school.
The shortages are forcing restaurants across the country to readjust their business model.
The owner of Nicoletta's in Florida can't find enough help, so he closes on Mondays.
I have to be able to not run them into the ground, run myself into the ground, so we need to take a day off, let everybody relax a little bit.
The Loft is staying open 7 days a week, but adjusting hours.
On weekends, we'd be open until 11 o'clock. Today, we're closing at 8:30 on Friday and Saturday nights because we don't have the staffing to make that happen.
The hope is workers will eventually return so business can return to normal. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
You can get HBO Max for less, but you'll have to watch ads. Starting in June, AT&T's Warner Media says it will charge $10 a month for an ad-supported version of HBO Max, as first reported by CNBC. The ad-free version of the streaming service costs $15. AT&T says HBO and HBO Max have a combined 44.2 million subscribers in the U.S. The company expects that number to rise between 120 million and 150 million by the end of 2025. You will soon have the chance to buy a ticket to outer space. Blue Origin wants to send paying customers on brief joyrides to the edge of space. Passengers will get to ride 60 miles above Earth and spend several minutes in weightlessness before the capsule parachutes back to Earth. Blue Origin is a space tourism venture funded by Jeff Bezos, who's cashing in $1 billion a year in Amazon stock to pay for it. Blue Origin's website says more details are coming May 5th. Well, hot new menu items are adding to McDonald's latest sales success. The fast food giant announced a 13.6% jump in U.S. same-store sales, with just over $5 billion in sales this past quarter, a 9% jump from last year. The Golden Arches towering results reportedly due in part to the company's latest menu items and celebrity promos. Rollouts such as the new crispy chicken sandwich and collabs with J Balvin and Travis Scott are all credited with getting customers in the door or cruising through the drive-thrus. McDonald's expects its financial success to continue in the near future. That's it for Money Watch. We'll be right back.
It's going to be a gorgeous start, not only to our Friday morning, but an entire weekend as well. Live look outside of Television City right now. Already got some blue sky up there, a far cry from where we were yesterday, and even a farther cry from where we certainly were on Wednesday. 47 degrees, so it is a little bit chillier than what we've had past couple of days, but that's because we lost our cloud cover overnight. 56 in Pittsburgh, 46 in Miami, and 54 in Nevada. Skywatch Storm Tracker remains clear. Go ahead and remove the sweeping radar. That's just a little residual that it likes to pick up. We don't have anything hitting the ground as everything stays to the far south of us. It's going to be another rainy day for portions of East and North Texas, but at least Arkansas and, more importantly for us, southern southwest Missouri, get a chance to calm down as we've been able to lift our flood warnings for Berry and McDonald County. Also, the flood warning for the Elk River has been allowed to expire. The split jet stream is going to force all that moisture right along the Gulf Coast today, give us plenty of sunshine and push us up into the high 70s, if not 80s, by the time it's said and done. Let's kind of rinse and repeat for Saturday as well. Now, Sunday, that's when we begin to pick up some additional rainfall, moves in from the south. Really doesn't pick up, though, till the late afternoon and evening hours. So if you've got outdoor plans on even Sunday morning to about, noon, afternoon time, you're going to be fine with that. Over to Tanya in Studio K.
All right, well, it's no secret the Ozarks can be absolutely breathtaking. There's plenty of natural beauty to be seen both above ground and below. Our next four-state staycation takes us to McDonald County, Missouri, where a local family unearthed a hidden gem. KOAM photojournalist Liam Mandelbaum gives us an inside look.
We are in Bluff Dwellers Cave, just south of Knoll, Missouri. I was actually a caver before I became a geologist. I loved caving as a young adult, and I had already earned a business management degree, but I thought, you know what, I love caves enough, I want this to be my career. So I didn't think that I'd end up in a show cave, but honestly it's an amazing place to be because I get to share my passions with the whole world, and that's really nice. So this cave has been in the family for over 100 years, although they didn't know they had it for all that time. It was discovered in 1925 on the family's land, and then they opened it for tours in 1927, and we've been open ever since, still owned by the same family. Arthur Browning had noticed a small hole on top of a hill where he could see steam in the winter and cool breezes in the summer. And in 1925, they were building a highway which was going to cut right through all of Arthur's farmland. And the gentlemen who were surveying for that highway asked him about caves, and he mentioned that hole, and they opened it up enough that they could squeeze in on their bellies, and well, the rest, as we say, is history. We opened for tours in 1927. So generally we have people come visit, so we're interacting with guests. They go through our museum, which is full of geology from all over the world actually, so it's a really neat educational museum. And then they take an hour-long tour of our cave. So I have tour guides that are well-versed in the cave's history, geology, biology, and they take people through the cave and show them a world that most people don't get to see every day. And there's just a little bit of everything for everyone here.
Well, if you're interested in checking out Bluff Dwellers Cave for yourself, it's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Admission runs $20 for people ages 12 and up or $10 for ages 4 to 11. We'll have more information on our morning show page at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be right back. Topping Health Watch this morning, steroids. They've commonly been used and abused throughout sports and fitness because of their instant and energizing effects. But now another kind of steroid, corticosteroids, used for organ transplant acceptance and autoimmune conditions, may be getting dangerously overprescribed.
Bronchitis, sore throat, congestion, the common cold. These common respiratory issues usually resolve on their own, but doctors can also prescribe a steroid shot.
You'll take them either as an injection or as a pill, and they go everywhere.
When patients go to the doctor, they expect something to happen, and it turns out that doctors are reimbursed by insurance if they prescribe a steroid shot. Steroid shots offer instant gratification and a huge energy boost, alleviating symptoms temporarily. But some medical experts say they lack evidence of true benefit for respiratory patients.
It's really tough to give patients steroids long term because there's just too much side effects.
Steroid use has been linked to frightening side effects like blood clots, heart failure, sepsis, and psychotic episodes, even when they're used short term. Now, some doctors are concerned that these corticosteroids are being overprescribed to patients who have no indicated need for steroids. In an analysis of 10 million outpatients, 1.2 million people with acute respiratory infections were prescribed corticosteroids. Researchers say if you feel uncomfortable receiving steroids, ask your doctor if they're absolutely necessary and for evidence of its benefits.
An addiction center says corticosteroids, hope I'm saying that right, are not an addictive substance, but they can cause symptoms of withdrawal when stopped abruptly. Corticosteroids raise the brain's level of cortisol, the hormone that regulates stress and can cause patients to produce less of it naturally, leading to a corticosteroid dependence. People over 50 often don't tell their doctors they're using cannabis to treat health issues. The research comes from a government survey of more than 17,000 adults. While marijuana use is on the rise as more states legalize it, health experts say patients who use cannabis to treat medical problems should consult with their doctor first. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Temperatures right now ranging a 10-degree difference there. 56 in Pittsburgh, 46 in Miami, and 47 in Joplin. So we're kind of all over the board on this Friday morning. We're already beginning to warm up though, and we'll be in the high 70s, if not touching 80 here by the time it's all said and done. You got weekend plans? I'll tell you what, I don't care whether it's mowing or just enjoying some fresh air. It is going to be absolutely tremendous on Friday and Saturday. Now, the only reason that Sunday is in that fair category and not the good category is it's just going to be the late afternoon and evening hours. Everything before then is going to be delightful, but then we will get a little rain that works in for us, takes us into Monday. Temperatures on Monday still warm, but then a cold front dropping in the beginning of next week and back into the 60s. And we'll be back right after this.
A Parsons, Kansas woman gets 14 years behind bars for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Plus, a Joplin man found guilty on more than 10 counts of sexual abuse. And Joplin police make arrest in the armed robbery of a come-and-go.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. It's going to be a dry and sunny day today, but a perfect start to the weekend. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
He's trying to put a smile on his face, even though Jesse Irwin's over here giving him a hard time. Good to see you back, man. 56 degrees right now in Pittsburgh, 46 in Miami. We are all over the board temperature-wise. Skywatch Storm Tracker, that is residual picked up by, oh, no, just Tanya, instead of pointing, just tell him he's still in the open on Fox. I so hope your mom's watching right now. Take off the sweeping radar. That's just residual is being picked up as everything is still going to stay to the far south of us and roll through the Gulf Coast. Sorry, it's Friday. We're having a good time around here because somebody's got to smile. Our weather trend has sunny skies lifting us up into the high 70s, if not low 80s. And it's going to be a great Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. Do not worry about that rain until Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we need a reason to smile. It's Friday.
What I got.
We'll take
In the words of Tony Kornheiser, that's it. That's the list. TK Stack Money, as he likes to be called.
TK Stack Money. All right. Thanks, Michael. A Labette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons woman for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Authorities say 30-year-old Tiffany Jakey was driving south on US 59 when she passed another vehicle in a no passing zone, drove partially onto the shoulder, and hit William Triber, who was walking on the shoulder. Triber died at the scene. Jakey is sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading no contest to second-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated endangering a child, and driving under the influence. A jury finds a Joplin man guilty on 10 counts of charges related to child sexual abuse. Authorities say in 2017, Daniel Franklin paid a group of minors to, quote, party naked with him. Franklin was found guilty on charges including multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. Authorities have arrested 2 people following an armed robbery at a Joplin convenience store. It happened Wednesday night at the Come and Go on South Main. Authorities say a man went into the store, brandished a knife, and demanded money. The clerk got away safely, and the man left in a car with a woman. Authorities say the suspect is Robert Castro. He was arrested later after a JPD officer tracked the car down. He was arrested in connection with the robbery and outstanding warrants. The alleged driver, Madison Shores, was also arrested. She's facing charges on possession of a controlled substance, DWI, and possession of marijuana. Former Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach seeks statewide office again, this time as Attorney General. It was revealed earlier that he had hired a treasurer for his campaign, a necessary first step before seeking office. And then yesterday afternoon, Kobach made it official in a press conference saying the state's AG office is the last line of defense against President Biden's policies. Kobach is known nationally for advocating restrictive immigration policies and tough voter identification laws. He also was the first prominent Kansas elected official to endorse Donald Trump for president in 2016. 1 in 10 Missouri teachers are thinking about quitting after a challenging year of pandemic education. That's according to a survey from Missouri State University. The survey was sent to 67,000 public school educators. Little more than 8,000 reported. Of those planning to retire or resign, 62% cited the pandemic as their reason. In a grim year for healthcare workers, 2 nurses in Kansas City grew closer together and fell in love. As they battled the pandemic, one in the ER and the other in the hospital ICU, their love got stronger. Alan Shope has their story of love in the time of COVID.
My plan today is to propose to my girlfriend, who is a nurse in the emergency room here.
It's a pretty good plan on the rooftop heliport at St. Luke's on the plaza.
I'm expecting a flawless proposal and for her to say yes.
Hidden in a staircase with fears of a young couple's future fighting COVID somewhat behind him.
We were at times afraid to even see each other.
Because when you work in healthcare, there's
a lot of uncertainty.
And when the love of your life is equally in the fight.
There's just so many unknowns.
But this moment,
a little overdue.
Michael understands very well.
Wanted to catch her completely off guard.
Got some flowers for you.
Did you? I did. We've been dating for a very long time, and I've fallen so very much in love with you. Would you do me the honor of marrying me?
Yes.
COVID definitely gave us more time together, which I think really helped us fall deeper in love with each other.
I was a little bit more scared for him because he worked in the COVID ICU and just being exposed longer.
And now, a special moment in a very special place.
Came up here last 4th of July and watched fireworks here.
Fireworks that even a pandemic can't stop.
What a sweet story. The couple plans to set a date for August or September. We wish them the best. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and a local nonprofit is raising money to help advocate for neglected and abused children. The Jasper County CASA is hosting the Helping Hands auction. The auction is virtual and features items like a vacation at Arkansas's Beaver Lake and a Chiefs fan package.
We had to miss our big fundraiser last year, and so just kind of came out of an idea that one of our board members had to, hey, let's try something different to see. And we've heard some organizations had some great success with doing auctions online, and so we wanted to give it a shot and see. We've just had tremendous community support with all the items that have been donated.
The auction kicks off today and runs through Sunday, May the 2nd. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, 100 days in office.
President Biden is traveling the country following his first 100 days, selling his plans to the American people. I'm Elise Preston with a look at his agenda moving forward.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, should menthol cigarettes and cigars be banned? We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
Today, live look outside of Television City, where temperatures may feel a little bit cool right now, only in the high 40s, low 50s throughout the 4 states, but by the time it's said and done, close to 80 degrees. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, President Biden will be in Pennsylvania today, his second swing state in as many days. He's on the move to sell his plans to the American people, though Republicans in Congress have shown no indication they're ready to get behind him. CBS's Elise Preston has the latest.
100 days into his presidency, President Biden is looking ahead to what's next.
I've never been more optimistic about the future in America. America's on the move again.
On Thursday, the president visited Georgia, a state that helped him win the office.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There's not a single thing we can't do when we do it together.
Fresh off his first address to a joint session of Congress,
the American Jobs Plan is a blue-collar blueprint.
Mr. Biden is traveling the country to sell his vision to the American people. That includes 2 spending plans on families and jobs.
We not only have to invest in America, we need to invest in our families. We need to invest in things our families care about and need the most.
Republicans have their concerns.
More taxes, more spending, more borrowing.
Though some are ready to find common ground on infrastructure, like West Virginia's Shelley Moore Capito, who tweeted that she had a constructive and substantive call with President Biden.
I'm always optimistic.
The two sides are also working on police reform. The families of George Floyd and Eric Garner met with a bipartisan group of lawmakers in Washington yesterday.
They got to hear directly from the families whose blood will be on the legislation.
President Biden called on Congress to pass a bill by the anniversary of Floyd's murder next month. Elise Preston, CBS News.
President Biden will visit Virginia on Monday to continue promoting his plans. More than a year into the nation's battle against the pandemic, Washington State and Oregon are reporting rising COVID-19 infection rates and hospitalizations. While in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced plans for restaurants, movie theaters, and stadiums to be allowed to reopen at full capacity by July 1st. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll asking if menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars be banned. This is coming out of the White House, the goal to reduce disease and death from those products. Asking what you think about that idea. Rick Norton, club member, says, good morning, everyone. We say good morning, Rick. Rick says it won't affect me at all, but it is just another overreach by our government. Rick says it's a sad day. Julie Albert says if they ban menthol cigarettes, do they really think people will just quit smoking altogether? Julie says they'll just switch to another flavor. That's got her shaking her head. And Sherry says, maybe flavored beer will/should be banned next. Might make drinking alcohol less appealing too. And Sherry linking us to a CDC article as well. On the morning Insta poll, right now, 67% of you saying no, menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars should not be banned. You can make your voice heard either by going to our Facebook page or taking part in our vote. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Corporal Greg Crowder, who served in the United States Marines from 1991 to 1992 in Honolulu, his hometown, Gentry, Arkansas. We are proud to salute Greg Crowder, today's four-state hero.
The birthday list begins with Kyle Cruz Baker, the KCB, as he celebrates his big third birthday right there. Looks like we already broke out the toys. I love it. Kyle, wants you to have a marvelous birthday, kiddo. He's in the Berg.
All right, Caleb Mitchell also celebrating birthday number 3. Looks like he might be out at a playground too. Caleb is in Webb City.
Evelyn Loftus, I'm going to Evelyn. She is at Webster Elementary in the city of Flags as well. And she is getting ready to celebrate number 7 today. Evelyn, a very happy birthday to you. And I want you to know this comes with love from Mommy, Daddy, and Sissy.
Right, well, if we had 2 3-year-olds, why not have 2 7-year-olds on our list today? Elizabeth Heflin also turning 7 strong. She's a proud Wildcat there in Oswego.
That's a cool sign right there. I love that. Student of the Month. Congratulations, Elizabeth. This cool name right here. I'll tell you what, when your name is Ace Alloway, first of all, I guess I gotta give Mom and Dad credit, right? Because that is a great name. Ace Alloway is celebrating his 9th birthday. Thank you, incomparable producer Katie Milner. As he turns number 9, we will celebrate him in Parsons. And kiddo, I want you to walk around for the rest of your life knowing how cool that name is. That is great.
Emma Jean Bradford celebrating. Look at that smile there. I love that picture. Emma Jean is 9 years old. She's in Iola, Kansas.
Creed Franklin now double digits. Congratulations to you, Mr. Creed. He celebrates his 10th birthday in Girard. And may I?
Sure.
Yeah, you know I love him.
All right, here we go. Ellie is now 12. This is amazing to me. Bloom family, absolutely great people. Ellie, I remember you when you were knee-high to a grasshopper. Tanya likes to make fun of me for my old man sayings. There you go. Ellie, congratulations on your 12th birthday. Tell your mom and dad, Slip says what's up. She celebrates in the knack.
All right. And we head down to McDonald County to celebrate Mackenzie Horton's 14th birthday. Mackenzie is from Rocky Comfort.
I want to point out something about the note that we were given here on our birthday list, and I want Mackenzie to know that Mackenzie, it was pointed out to us that Rocky Comfort is it specifically says, I'm going to read you from my list. Rocky Comfort is in the northeastern part of McDonald County. Mackenzie, a happy birthday to you, kiddo. We know where Rocky Comfort is. You're right off 76. We've all been down there. Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know where Mackenzie is, it's beautiful down there. Look at that scenery behind that picture. Happy birthday, Mackenzie.
All right. Logan Wilson, turning 24 years old today in Erie, Kansas. Happy birthday, Logan.
And one above that, number 25 for Leslie Smith. Leslie, a very happy birthday to you. She's in Chanute.
Samantha Swanwick turning the big 3-0 this year. Looking great there, Samantha. Definitely not a day over 29.
Angela Miletio Bomar, the big 4-0. Happy birthday to Angela. This comes from birthday wishes from your mother-in-law. Now, mom-in-law is in Neosho, and Angela, she is in Pryor.
All right, Nathan Akey turning 42 years old this year. Happy birthday to Nathan in Neosho.
You want to say it with me? Who that is?
Oh, wow.
What's up, my man? Tyler
It's
Harris.
at that time of year already.
Right, celebrating his 42nd birthday right there. Tyler, a very, very happy birthday to you. You can tell he was he was in a gymnasium right there, running around with the kiddos. Somebody's like, here, we got to snap a picture of you, because he's always on the run.
I want to know Tyler's trick, though, because I think each year he looks younger, not older. So I want to know what you do, Tyler.
We will
What's
now
your magic?
call Tyler. We have just now renamed you Benjamin Button. So
There you go.
congratulations for that.
Numbers may be going up, but
It's a curious case.
you're getting younger.
That's all I'll say. Tim Crane, a happy 59th birthday. Whoa! Wow. That's what I got for that one. Just W-O-W. That's amazing.
There's got to be a story with that. Where was that at? I want to know.
Tim, we want to know the backstory about this. That's a great picture. Anyway, Tim is in Columbus celebrating his 59th birthday, and hopefully we will find out the backstory of the picture. That's amazing.
Look at the rack on that thing. Wow. Okay, we want to know more, Tim. Please enlighten us. All right, in Frontenac, turning double sixes, Kathleen Stroud. Happy birthday.
You know those, like the huge, it's bigger than an RV. Here, go ahead and flip. Happy birthday, Kathleen. Can you flip it? Can we flip I got a quick story. No, just can we flip the next picture? Okay, you know the ones the mobile mammography units?
Yeah.
You know the size of those?
Mm-hmm.
This woman right here taught me how to drive one.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this is no joke. Her name is Donna Gillard. She's an absolutely marvelous healthcare professional. And I'm white-knuckled, and she's laughing at me because she drove these all over the state to take care of mammography needs. That's
awesome.
Yeah, and that's how much she means to everybody. Donna, you know I love you. A very happy birthday in Girard.
Dennis and Renee James are celebrating an anniversary this year. That's a wonderful picture of the James. Congratulations.
Everybody out at Medical Lodges, practice that social distancing, but make sure that you wish Kathy Ulrich a very, very happy birthday. And a happy birthday to you, Kathy. Kevin Gardner, he's celebrating his 57th birthday. Mr. Kevin is in commerce. And the good doctor, Curtis Gregory. Happy birthday, Doc, in Columbus. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden heads to Philadelphia today to keep pitching his ambitious economic and social agenda. His multi-trillion-dollar proposals are aimed at rebuilding infrastructure, creating jobs, and providing aid to families. The president spoke about his plans at a drive-in rally in Georgia on Thursday, his 100th day in office. Elabette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons woman for hitting and killing her boyfriend with her car. Authorities say 30-year-old Tiffany Jakey was driving south on US 59 when she passed another vehicle in a no-passing zone, drove partially onto the shoulder, and hit William Triber, who was walking on the shoulder. Triber died at the scene. Jakey is sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading no contest to second-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated endangering a child, and driving under the influence. A jury finds a Joplin man guilty on 10 counts of charges related to child sexual abuse. Authorities say in 2017, Daniel Franklin paid a group of minors to, quote, party naked with him. Franklin was found guilty on charges including multiple counts of statutory sodomy, statutory rape, and unlawful use of a weapon. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Temperatures all over the place on this Friday morning, anywhere from the mid-40s to the mid-50s. Now, we all kind of will even out together here with sunshine lifting us up into the high 70s, if not low 80s. Throughout the course of the afternoon hours, going to be perfectly clear and sunny, not only for today, but we'll also be able to do that again tomorrow. Don't have to worry about the emergence of any additional rainfall until we get to late Sunday afternoon.
All right, you know what's going on this weekend? A big race involving horses, the Kentucky Derby. And we're going to be making Kentucky Derby bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen today at noon.
Got it. What? Why are you running in here? I was racing. It's Kentucky Derby. Oh, no, I needed you to do the... There.
That was Jesse.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us on this Friday. Thanks for tolerating me this morning. Have a great, safe, wonderful weekend, and we'll do this again on Monday morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.